Welcome to podcast 328 of 5-Star Potential, your weekly Football Manager podcast. I'm Doop, and on this week's pod, I am joined by Joe, aka Friday Night FM, Paul, aka Mad FM, and Dave, aka the South African Mourinho. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Very good. I like that one. It's a nice nickname this week.
I don't think.
You know what? When I was writing it, I couldn't think of anything to actually bait you with that could be on the podcast.
We haven't spoke this week apart from this pod, so it's not like he's told us any of his life story that we can kind of leak on the podcast.
I've been in his streams, mate. I've been talking to him all week.
Yeah, I've not been there. Sorry, Dave. I don't want to wreck the save update. That's what it is. But I did go to the bit where you were looking at your stadium, Dave, and I wouldn't want to do the Mourinho knee slide on that pitch. I'll be honest. That looks ropey.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to be sent to the stands either.
You'd be a mile away. It'll take you an hour to get there.
Yeah.
But on this week's pod, we will talk more FM24. Dave and Maddles have been streaming more than I have, which is criminal this time of year. And we'll pop to Italy for our adventures in Wonderkid-Land. And Dave, hopefully, has got a decent quiz, which will embarrass me again. But before that, let's have your winners of the week, gentlemen. Joseph, who's your winner? And why is it not me?
I'll bring back an old one here because I can't actually think of one. So I'll say me because I've played a bit of FM.
Yes, it's back. Good.
Mate, I've had FM loaded up more than I've played it. Let's put it that way this week.
Shit.
More pictures and matches, like Doop.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Dangier fucking block. Right, we'll hear more.
What's that?
He sent me a picture. He's like, oh, there's another one. He's got his laptop open in the hospital.
I didn't actually play. No, because I'm very conscious of it now. I also did one. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I took the kids swimming yesterday. Oh, their swimming lesson. I sat there and I played a little bit.
And he was taking pictures of your laptop, yeah.
Dupe is just hoping that somebody else
for his under 15s again.
He just wants somebody to see him playing FM and then tweet saying, "I've just seen Dupe playing FM in the swimming pool." You know?
In the swimming pool.
Yeah, I'll be impressed.
Right. This is right. I'm going to move on.
David,
FM
touch.
I was touching nothing, Joe, apart from the keyboard. Right, David, your go.
I mean, I could have a few winners here. I'm gonna go with the Penty there, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But the Penty is well and truly underway, and I'm enjoying it so far, which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling.
Awesome, very good. Well, we're here.
Can I just ask a question as well? I know we'll talk about it, but do you think a lot of people know what a Pentagon Challenge is, or do they just think it's the win 5 Champions Leagues? Because I've seen a lot of people in your stream saying, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a Pentagon Challenge," but
it was 2, wasn't there? So
I picked my first club, or or I started with badges and stuff like that.
One guy picked a decent team, and another guy had like international qualifications, and I thought that makes it like. Or he said, "I'm doing a journeyman save," and he was managing a team in non-league, but he was like an international footballer and the best coaching badges. And I thought like people could play the game how they want, but if you're in
they've called him out so hard.
Nah, I didn't. And I think for like newer players, that's probably something in terms of difficulty. If you want to make the game harder, to make it more difficult is you have no badges and no experience, because it makes your managerial attributes and experience rubbish, and it makes it harder to manage a team. So if you are finding FM very easy this year and you're maxing out your qualifications, then that's why.
Dave, you were promising to make more video. Sorry, Doof. He's just cutting across the road to raise your finger.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Who's who here?
Mad, you carry on, son.
Sorry, Dupe, but okay. I don't know if we froze there. Dave, how you were promising to make more videos for the website? This could be one of them. What is the Pentagon Challenge? I'll do a blog if you do video.
We could do. We could do what is the Pentagon Challenge? Yeah?
I mean, how exciting!
All challenges. To be fair, you did some good challenge one as well. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me know when that's uploaded. I'll make sure I don't watch it. I will be honest, though. Didn't Matt have this problem with his Tottenham save, where he had no badges and no attributes and no experience, and he really struggled to get the respect of the team, and he kind of nearly killed his save, didn't it?
Yeah, that's
a bit like Ryan. What's his name? Ryan Mason is kind of the same when he took over.
Yeah, that's what I think. Whenever whenever I start a normal save, and I think most of us start a normal save, like you just match the qualifications and experience to the team that you're managing. But Matt always liked to challenge it. Matt always liked to make things hard for himself in like, you know, with the graphics for in the podcast and everything. So
He certainly liked to make things hard.
so
Big time.
yeah. So no, that's why. That's what the one thing I'd say. But yeah, I mean, I'll explain it a bit more, the Pentagon Challenge, shortly anyway. But I suppose everyone likes to play the game in their own way.
I think it's a fair shout for people that like don't have the time frame that we have to sit and play the game. If you have all the badges already, you can just fly through it, and yeah, okay, it's not as much as an achievement as some may say, but it's still kind of doing it, right?
It's still hard
still
to
gotta
win
lead the
5
team.
Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Oh,
fucking
of
hell.
course, yeah. But the main advantage with that is if you've got the qualifications and the experience, you'll just walk from job to job. Like you could manage some team in South Africa and then just walk straight into like the Real Madrid job or something like that. Whereas the challenge,
but it's not.
yeah,
It's a long walk.
Yeah.
It's more than £5 a month.
But the whole.
Go on, man. Sorry, I was just gonna say, wouldn't it impact recruitment as well? Like, so even if you have all your badges and you're going into a fairly low club, you'd be able to attract a slightly higher, better player than someone. With
sometimes a club won't actually hire you if your reputation is too high.
Yeah, because of the wages and stuff as well. They think you demand.
Yeah, but it doesn't take that long to go. You only got to win like 1 or 2, and your reps and your experience is massive anyway. I mean, I remember when I did mine, I was jumping from club to club. Any club that would let me do my badge, my next lot of badges. That was kind of, oh, we've got 3 offers from China. Okay, but these will let me do my badge. It's in the interview. You can do it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyway, let's back onto, yeah, absolutely. We say that about it a lot, right? All right, back onto winners. Mad, who is your winner and why is it Dave?
I was going to say my winner of the week in advance, Doop, is going to be you for how much editing of this pod you're going to have to do based on the last 10 minutes.
I don't know what
but
you're
outside
talking
of that, thank you in advance.
If you weren't so bloody sweary, we wouldn't have to.
Well,
You know,
if you're going to have an Irishman on the podcast,
fine. It's just the absolute racism that just kills me. And we've got to cut that shit out. You know what I mean?
as long as it's not the drinking.
So that is
Well,
swigging
you know.
Peroni, mate.
Can I just make a quick tangent about Peroni? When I was at Silverstone the other week, Peroni in the fridge. I was like, oh yes, get on the Peronis. You give it to me. Took a swig. I was like, this tastes like shit.
Zero.
That's gluten-free Peroni.
Oh man.
Oh, it's like
Gluten-free?
drinking
I don't even know what's in
the
it, yeah.
Doop's ball sack.
Where did we get that Peroni from? Sorry.
I still drink it.
Even better. Yeah.
Other beers are definitely available than that one. Doop, I'm going to
We
say
should bring that out.
Winner of the week is Jonah Kusi Asar, the 16-year-old 6'5" Wonderkid in my Ike save. Can't take much credit for him because he was there when I got there. But while streaming kind of in between seasons, we did a couple of friendlies. He did score just at the end of season 1, but we did a couple of friendlies. He was banging some goals. And then we played our first competitive game of season 2, which is the Swedish Cup that happens before the league starts. And he bagged a hat-trick in the opening game. Granted, against a team in the division below. But it was actually a perfect hat-trick as well, I believe. He had a header to start it off. Then he got I think it was a left foot, bottom corner, kind of a drilled shot low. And then he got a penalty on his right. And the boy is 16. So, yeah, he takes it.
Really weird that you've mentioned that because my winner of the week was going to be Victor Osimhen. Because for the first time, and I was my question was going to be, is it a new thing? I've seen the text come up to say he scored a hat trick, his first ever perfect hat trick.
Nice.
Is that a new thing?
I've seen it in game. No,
this
it was
year
definitely there last
before?
year, but I was definitely there in FM23. I don't remember before that because I'm so bad at the game. Not many of my strikers score hat tricks.
And if you want to go for link ups, I've put Victor Osimhen on a thumbnail today. So there we go.
Wow.
That.
Happy days. What are you painting your nails for?
Mm.
Right. Losers of the week. Let's go for that. Joe, who's your loser
You
of
for
the week?
that terrible fucking joke.
And who else?
Sending you to Asda, mate. Losers of the week.
We're being negative today. I like it.
No, it's not. Unhappy players. Now, I know they've tweaked kind of interactions and things like that, but I get that news item now every time when there's where the promises are in there. Before, like you'd say about playing time, or you'd say you'd sell a player. Now you get an inbox item like every week saying what the status is of that promise, and that it fucking bugs me because it's like it's an unfinished thing. And like I've had Gustavo Assunção, he wanted to leave. I said if someone come in with a 2 million bid, he could go. And then for a whole season, it's in my inbox saying like he's waiting to be sold. I'm like, yeah, if someone bids for you, I will sell you. And then I've now got my striker who towards the end of the season and then coming into this season, I think he's scored about 20 goals in 12 games. A lot of them obviously Europa League, beating AIK. He was in there, but he asked to leave basically because he'd had a good end to the season. He wanted a bit of a stepping stone. I'd agreed and said, look, he's in his last year of his contract. Someone bids 5.5 million, he can go. And it literally has taken until the end of the transfer window for him to actually. He's had loads of bids, had them accepted, nothing's finalised. And I need that money to replace him. So I'm going to get to the last day of the window. I think he's going to end up joining Leicester, and I've kind of then got because part of me is going, he's not going to leave because he'd had a couple of bids accepted and then he'd rejected them. So in my mind, I'm going, he's not going to end up going. So I didn't want to stock up and then he stays, because if he stays, brilliant, because he's scoring all the goals. But you like to have someone ready to rock and roll. So yeah,
absolutely.
Unhappy players.
What I found with that, I found it being quite annoying as well because, like, for example, mention him again, Victor Osimhen. As soon as he came in, he requested we improve my coaching staff. I improved it. I got the green light, and I'm still getting weekly reminders that he's happy that we have improved.
What's annoying as well,
and it's still coming through.
Yeah, in the squad dynamics, and it says, "Oh, you've got 2 players unhappy," but they're not unhappy because I've agreed to sell them. Like if bids come in, so why are they unhappy? I've agreed to what they want.
That's a fair point.
Lingering
fuckers.
Can you change the frequency of those reminders? I haven't looked into it too much, but can you control the frequency of reminders of promises and all that kind of stuff?
I've got a life, mate. I've got football manager
preferences, responsibilities.
Change delivery frequency. You can change it to never, by the way. That's player targets. Player promises.
I'll have a look at it afterwards. If it's there, I will change it. It's not.
Annoying.
It's more annoying.
It's
more annoying
that
it's like your squad dynamics. Because they shouldn't be unhappy because I've agreed to what they want. Yeah, just Chiefs, mate.
Just on a side note as well, Joe, I'm not too sure on, when you were mentioning player wants to leave and you'll say, okay, I'll sell you if I get 2 million. I found like sometimes I'll look at a player and I'll go, in my head, I'll be like, I'd probably take 3 million for this player. And then I'll go and I'll say, what do you want to go for? And he'll say 5. And I'll be like, okay. And his value is 3. So I'm like, before it used to be kind of almost on the other end of the spectrum where it'd be like, I only want to go for half that. So there's definitely been movement there. Whether it's good or not, I'm still not sure.
You're never going to keep everyone happy, Joe. Mad, talking of unhappy, what are you unhappy about this week?
It's a bit of real life football, but there's a bit of an FM link, I suppose. I was just thinking about international managers because if you don't know Ireland, we've just kind of sacked off our manager, Stephen Kenny, for being shit. But that's for many reasons. But like as I was looking at it, part of me was like, are international managers just in general not that good? Or is it just a tainted job? Because like Southgate obviously just continuously getting abused. The Spanish chap was getting a lot of grief because he was playing Gavi in a kind of a unimportant game. And now he's got injured for like a year. So part of me was like, when you're hiring international managers, and for context, we've got Neil Lennon as the favorite for the Ireland job. So there's that. Good our international managers in general, just, managers that aren't really going to get anywhere with clubs? Or is it just a job that not many managers want because it's a shit gig? And probably applies to FM because it's a hard thing to do in FM, unless you're doing club and country or something like that.
I think it's a proud job to get if you're managing your nation. It's a great payout.
Yeah.
Not so much for Ireland now. Was it John Delaney?
No. John Delaney spent all that money on gluten-free Peroni.
They had a great time when he was in charge. But I think, it's a good payout. It's a bit of a cushy number, and it just go and watch football matches and then do a couple of training sessions.
Figurehead.
play a match, get sacked, get paid out,
Mm.
rinse and repeat. But in
Get a
FM,
lot
it's
of
a
grief.
tedious thing. And I know obviously this year they've added the squad planner and stuff like that, but it's unless you're doing it alongside a club management as well,
Yeah.
it's quite tedious to doing it.
Well, a lot of people love squad building, right? And you can't really build a squad. Like, you're given what you're given, right? So people love making transfers and making a squad their own. You can't really do that with international football. So it's tough.
The one thing that might be interesting there, I mean, it's a long time to wait, but and maybe you can keep me honest here, lads. I believe the qualifiers for the South American World Cup 26 are happening. Is it this year or next? Like early next year? Like 2 years in
Hasn't it already
advance?
started? Isn't Brazil,
Yeah,
Argentina?
that could be it.
Didn't they have a big kickoff
So that was World Cup qualifier, was it? Because I know there's
where they had a big fight in the stand? Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I heard on the radio that was a World Cup qualifier.
and that's for 2026. So like, how do you squad plan doing your qualifiers now for a World Cup that's in 2 3/4 years, nearly 3 years?
Well, that's why he's playing Hendrick, mate, just getting him ready.
Yeah, yeah.
I can be honest with you,
I
man.
see
One thing that
Zealand
Neil
tweet.
Lennon doesn't have to do is worry about that World Cup. So don't panic.
Yeah.
No,
I saw Zealand tweet you, and if you want to know how young Hendrick is, in 2039, he's the same age as Kevin De Bruyne is now.
Oh my
holy
god.
sh!
2039.
2039, yeah.
That's
So 16 years' time, he'll be the same age as Kevin De Bruyne is now.
That's scary, isn't it?
That's absolutely horrendous. I on our stuff with the school with my little one, it says that he's going to leave that school in 2030. That makes you feel very old. It just seems like it's such a long way away, yet it's not that far away at all. It's crazy, really crazy. Dave, that's your loser of the week.
I think you alluded to it earlier, that my new stadium on the Pelican Challenge, which we will talk about.
You need to get a picture up on the YouTube one, mate, because
if you're on the YouTube, I'll get a
it
picture.
looks like an abandoned pirate ship been put in the middle of a field. Mud
When
desert.
obviously on my Football Manager, I mean, you can download stadium pictures and background pictures if you wanted to in the game, but I haven't got any of that. And we got this club, and we're in the second division of South Africa, and we got 10,000 seater stadium. I was like, oh my god, like flipping heck, here we go. This is a club with potential. Then I think it was the second stream. I thought, you know what, let's actually have a look at this ground. And it's like someone built it out of Lego, man, but left it for 20 years and then returned to it. It's got like a really dusty running track around it. Yeah, it's not pretty, to be honest. But hopefully, I mean, I don't think I'll stay there that long. This club, to be honest. But yeah, it's not a great arena, to be honest.
But am I right in saying when you were streaming that you were averaging not even 1,000 fans?
Mate, we're not even averaging 150.
Oh,
so
right,
we've got a 10,000 seater stadium, and we get I got a mail, like a message on the game. It says bumper crowd after fan day. I thought, flipping heck, here we go. We've got 210 people there out of 10,000, and they said that was a bumper crowd. I was like, oh my word. So
I'm assuming you're not paying any rent or anything on that, are you? Like, you don't. Do you own it?
I don't know. No, we'll share it with another team.
You have to drag the mud in, mate, every week.
Yeah.
So there's no. Oh,
well, there you go.
Joe's
just sent you a picture on Discord if you want to look at it. But
the shape is ridiculous. Like this.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Diamond.
They must play baseball. They must play baseball though. Sorry. That looks like that one end really is like a baseball. Stadium,
but doesn't it look like an old stadium?
Park,
They've just not. It's like just looks like an abandoned ground. Like that left hand side where the diamond shape is does not look safe whatsoever.
No,
like a scaffolding with seats on it.
Well, they've got more than 210 there, so find out whatever was on that day and
I know.
repeat.
That's they share the ground with Black Leopards.
Yeah,
they're half decent compared to the Venda boys.
The Venda,
but they're like, Before we move on, but like in our division, the average attendance is probably only 200-300. But then there's a team. I think it's Maritzburg. I think the team, and we played them, and I thought, you know, I've heard of these. We played them away, really tough game, beat them 1-0. And then after the game, they had 7,500 there compared to the match before when I'm getting 150 people watching me play.
Mate, it's similar with Famalicão, to be fair, because we've only got 5,500 seater stadium.
Yeah.
And playing the start of the season, I played all my friendlies at home. And then when we was playing in the Europa League qualifier, I played against AIK, and they had like 30,000 people there. It's like the highest crowd. I mean, we still turned them over, but
What, in Sweden there was 30K?
we played. Yeah, I played in Sweden.
Yeah,
and there was 30,000 there, whereas normally like
mad,
we
isn't
get like between 4,000 and 5,000. I think it sold 300 season tickets.
I'm sure.
I think I
watched Famalicão play Porto Benfica a year or two ago, and it was like that. Like, it just seemed like there were more Porto Benfica fans there than. How long have they been in a club, Joe? Because they seem like they've only
been a while. It's just very small, but it's like northern Portugal, so it's not like they're close to Braga.
Yeah, well,
so that's kind of like they're like the nearest bigger team.
I suppose they've only just sort of burst through over the last few years, haven't they? Really, only sort of
yeah. When Wolves started investing in them,
stealing all their players. Awesome. Well, like I said, we'll dive in deeper into that very soon. Before we do that, I'll give you my loser of the week, and it's just me. I'm just sat at the dining room table with rich man's disease, and I can barely, I want some sympathy, basically. That's because my wife's not giving me any or sympathy. Right, let's jump straight on to save updates, and let's crack on. Who wants to start?
Get on the Venda bus. The Venda bus.
Definitely Dave.
Yeah, Pentagon, well and truly underway. So, so talking about it earlier, like what a Pentagon challenge is, the way I would see it is that you start unemployed, 0 coaching badges, and basically the aim is to obviously join a team and then eventually go on to win all the 5 Champions League titles. So Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America. It's difficult because it depends on how good your PC is as well. So I've pretty much loaded all the nations that I want to manage in, and I think eventually I will take those off once I've completed it, just because after 20 seasons, your database size and your save file can be quite big. So we jumped into a team quite soon, or a few jobs up for grabs. I did, we discussed it last week in regards to Saudi Arabia, whether I was going to download that, and I didn't. Joe, you got a question? Sorry,
mate. I was just going to go back a little bit. Yeah. So your manager, obviously no badges, no qualifications.
Yeah.
Is he English, Maltese?
English. I don't even know if I put
How did you get to South Africa? Were you like the hardest geezer and you run there?
Yeah, mate, that's what I made. Must have done. No, I obviously had all those. So I loaded all those nations up, and then there were a couple of J League teams available. They were sort of mid-season already, so there were a couple of those that I looked at, and then there were a couple in the South African division. But this team, Venda FC, I think the actual name is Venda Football Academy. They came up and offered me a job straight away. I thought, all right, okay. Stupidly or unstupidly, I didn't really look at their team because I've got attribute masking on, so I can't see how good any of the players are anyway. But I quickly looked at them. Very new team. I think they were only founded in 2021. They were actually media predicted sort of mid-table in the 2nd division of South Africa. So I thought, you know what, this could be, if I do okay, this could be a decent challenge. Took over the team, all of a sudden saw their squad, and it was just like loads of defenders, loads of strikers, 2 central midfielders. That was it. I was like, oh, crap. So I had a system that I'd used very, very briefly at Wolves, and obviously I had the one with the Segundo Volantes and stuff, and I thought I can't be playing a double Segundo Volante in South Africa. I just don't think it would work. So I messed about with that system a little bit. I think I'm playing a ball-winning midfielder and a deep line playmaker in the middle. And we weren't really being able to sign any players. We were very tight on the wage budget. Basically, in South Africa, you just lose money every single month. Month after month, you lose money. And basically, the aim is that you got to do well in the cup or ticket sales, which I'll come on to in a minute, or obviously go on to get promoted. So we do. I hit the halfway point of on the stream. We've had like 2 really big streams at it. Thankfully, the league has only got 16 teams, so you can get through a season quite quickly, but it has got a big winter break in the middle. But after 15 games, we've won 12, drawn 1, lost 2. So we're top of the league with 37 points, 6 points clear of the team that are second at the moment. So we're doing really, really well. And I'm happy with how it's going. Our top scorer is a guy called, you don't have to remember these names, so I'll probably never manage him again, and you will probably never need to manage him on your Football Manager saves. 34-year-old South African striker, Mweketsi Sekola.
Sounds like you might cut out about 3 times then.
Yeah, exactly. I looked at him, And straight away I looked at his attributes, half decent finishing, good composure, half decent bit of pace. I thought, yeah, you'll do, because I think you'll score goals at this level. And that's why 16 goals and 6 assists in 15 league games. My concern is now, because basically you would only put players on 1-year contracts and you don't really renew the contracts till after January. So straight away it's hit 1st of January. One of my highest rated players, I think Kaiser Chiefs have just offered him a contract. So it's going to be difficult keeping some good players, but I think just get through the season, get promoted, get a promotion on my CV and see what happens. But so far, so good. I think the big part of the penalty is to jump into it, try and enjoy it as quickly as you can. And I'm obviously winning games, so I'm certainly doing that as well.
And Dave, do you normally, like, you're going for a Champions League now? Do you stay in Africa until you get the African Champions League? Let's say, or like if a job came up in, I don't know, Japan or Europe, can you go before you've got that Champions League?
Yeah, you can. There's no sort of way to.
Okay.
I don't know what Joe's doing. He's putting me off.
Have a great time.
There's no rhyme or reason. There's no right. Once you're in South Africa, you got to win the African Champions League before you can leave. You know, you can jump from continent to continent, really. But I think the way I'll do it is just sort of stick to it, stay in Africa until I get it sorted, and then we'll move on. But yeah, we're looking good. We just played the team I mentioned earlier, Maritzburg United. They're a massive club. Like I say, they get 7,500 there compared to us that we get. I think our highest attendance has been like 205, 210 at home. But we played them in the cup and beat them, and it was away from home, so I must have got a share of the ticket sales because my overall balance shot up like really quickly. But
Nice.
like I said, we're losing like 20-30 grand a month at the moment. It's ridiculous. We're about 500 quid outside our wage budget, but in terms of travel costs, we make no money from the matches. So yeah, I think the key is do half decent in the cup. I've got a couple of friendlies lined up to make 3 or 4 grand in between, in the winter break. And yeah, see how we can get on. But I'm confident we can get promoted. Top of the league gets automatically promoted. If you finish 2nd or 3rd, you basically have a playoff against the teams that finished 1 from bottom and 2 from bottom in the league above as well. But yeah, looking good so far.
You say about enjoying South Africa and not remembering the team, but you enjoyed South Africa on the last Pentagon Challenge, and I bet you remember the team.
I enjoyed it last year when I did it, and the year before. South Africa was really. So I think it was Super Sport when I won it last time, and last year it was a team called Jomo Cosmos, but they're not even in the top 2 divisions on this one. So, but I think when the new gens come, it'll be really, really good because it says I've got a crap youth intake coming, but I can guarantee some of those could walk in my team still. So all you need, like I said, 3 or 4 half decent attributes on a striker. It's almost managing, and no disrespect to the level, but managing at non-league. I always look at a striker. If he's got half decent pace, all right composure, and decent finishing, he'll score you goals. And that's exactly what I've got with 2 or 3 of these strikers. So it's good because I've got a couple of guys that are on paper right wingers or left wingers, but they're good on the ball, quick. So I was like, let's play them up front then. And it's working. And you know what? The wing backs in this system are ridiculous how good they are. The amount of assists and goals they're both getting. And again, I'm playing wingers there as well because they're just bombing up and down the wing. We're having real joy with it at the moment.
Just going back to a feature that was added last year with Champions League and Europa League music, have you noticed any vuvuzelas?
I haven't heard anything yet. No, I'll have to see. I'll have to turn the sounds on and see if that's a thing. I don't think
vuvuzelas are older than Dave. Come on, he doesn't know.
I know what they are.
That lad knows an African trumpet.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we're doing good. The big task now going into this winter break for me is who do I want to keep, because it's a bit of a risk. Obviously, I've got good players now, but are they good enough to make the step up into the South African Premier League? Or again, for me, do I jump ship? But I don't want to go around applying for jobs willy-nilly, and start pissing off the board. So yeah, I've not even said the team name. I know Joe alluded to it. It's called, well, I did actually at the start. Venda FC. But yeah, the Venda bus or the vendor machine, Joe alluded to. But that's the title. I think the Venda bus, that's the title of the pod right there. There you go.
There you go. That saves us a job later, Dave.
Yeah,
do you know, when you were talking about not enjoying South Africa, I actually really enjoyed it when I did my penalty a couple of years ago. And I've just jumped to Twitter because I have to be honest, I forgot the name. And I did it with Cape Town FC, which is probably a bit of a cheat code because they're probably very good by the sounds of things. But honestly, the more and more I hear you talk about Penny, it just makes me want to do a fucking Penny. Honestly, I think they are the greatest things ever, and I had so much fun. And do you know, I'm just looking back through the tweets as I go through. So I just searched it, and like the graphic that Joe did for it was sick, and it was all just so much fun. So if anyone's thinking about doing one, I genuinely would recommend it. And I'm sure, like I said, they will bring out a video which will send you to sleep, and then you can start it after that.
No, like for people listening, it can be a slog, to be fair. But if you are someone that literally you do come home from work and play 2 or 3 hours, or you play like loads of hours over the weekend, you know, it can take 20 odd seasons. But I think if you say, right, this is going to be, say, probably between now and like May, June, mate, you're set, honestly. And I think as long as you really stick with it and start at a lower level, like South Africa, and then go to Asia or vice versa, you'll be sound, really enjoyable.
The thing for me was that it just set me out of my comfort zone. I managed in India, in China, in Korea, in South Africa, in Brazil, in Mexico. Like, I've never managed in these countries before, and it made me have to really kind of move on and have a little look and learn the league rules as well. That was always a fun one. I know you jumped in MLS, and you must have learned it when you were cheating over there. So it was just, you know, it is good, and it really broadens that horizon, and it puts a challenge. And that's the best thing about challenges. It really sets it up for you. It's difficult. I might be talking myself into doing one now, Dave. I might wait till you finish yours. I don't want to steal your thunder, but
I think the thing that almost scares people sometimes, especially starting, is looking at it and you picking a team that you don't have a clue who any of the players are. But I think after like 3 or 4 games, you quickly look past that. Either you just get used to who's doing well and playing, or you actually sort of start to get some random connection with some of these players. So that happened a lot, and you'll start to sign players, and you think, you know what, I'm going to take this guy everywhere with me, and you never end up doing it. But no, it is honestly, it's really good fun. Or like in 10 years or 6 seasons, 7 seasons time, you're like, why do I know that name? And it is someone that you manage right at the start of the save, for argument's sake. So that is good fun.
Yeah, but again, that's good. You're not signing players on name. You're not signing players that you've seen somebody down there, like on Twitter, sign. It's teaching you to really look into a player's profile screen, look at their attributes, their reports, and because let's be honest, some of these players that you're pulling in, you ain't got many other options to pull others, and if it goes wrong, your rep gets a hell of a tanking as well. So it really makes you into a better player, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't know what your excuse is.
So you talking about starting a save, and I know you like to elevate a challenge. So could you do like a decagon challenge? So like you have to win the 5 Champions Leagues. 10.
Okay, twice.
You've got to win them twice.
So no, you've got to win the Champions Leagues, but then you've got to win the Club World Cup with each continent.
Long.
Oh.
That's gonna be hard.
That's gonna be really hard. Because you'd have to do it all in one go. You couldn't move. Do you know what I mean? That would maybe.
You could though, couldn't you? Because you could just like Dave done a couple of times, didn't he? He literally joined a team that was going to play in like they were going to play in the final.
Well, I did that with Palmeiras, wasn't it? When I went to Brazil the first time,
to do the
I just won. I just won the South African one. And when I went to join Palmeiras, they were in the semi-final of the Copa Libertadores, and like I was like, "Fuck it, let's just go." And then we lost. And then we went somewhere.
Imagine elevating it to that though, and you've got to win. Yeah, win the Champions Leagues and the Club World Cup with each continent.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I did think actually about, because obviously I'm still kind of tempted with this Siren Town one, that I could bring Siren Town up into a good position, then bugger off, do the Penty, and then finish in Europe winning it with Siren Town.
That's long.
That's long.
Win it first with Siren Town and then dip.
Yeah, but then you get the reps fucked. Your reps fucked. You struggle to get a job in some of these
if you took Siren from non-league to Premier League, ain't gonna be fucked, is it?
Yeah, but no, what I mean is like, are you then going to win it in Europe and then be able to go back to South Africa? Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I think you would.
Dude, we need to give you some friendly advice. You need to be careful because obviously between moving house, you've lost a little bit of time. And, you know, the last time, you remember you were doing the Goal Challenge and you were doing it up until the night before, like the new game came out?
Yeah, but he didn't start it till late.
Yeah,
well, that's also true. But
actually finished it.
Keep an eye on the time.
Stream.
I know, but it was close.
It was close to the new game coming out when you was finishing it.
No,
or was that the Achievement Hunter?
No, that wasn't
Achievement Hunter.
It was no, that was done. That was done and dusted way before. It was the Palermo save. Was the one that I won the Champions
Achievement
League with
Hunter.
Palermo.
You one
the
the
night
day
before the
game
beta come out.
Yeah.
I don't think I did. I think it was a lot long. There
I'm
was a
sure.
lot more in it than that. I think it was the Palermo one. I will find out and I'll come back to you. Joe, why don't you tell us about your save whilst I do that?
Pretty much have with all the other chat we've had, but I haven't.
I did think that.
I've literally been going through pre-season, doing a Doop. Not a lot of money, so I've been careful with the money. I think I said on the last pod that I'd invested some of the money I had into making 2 of the loans permanent with Chiquinho and Nathan, my right back. So I've signed them. I've managed to get a few, probably 3 or 4 players from Porto Sport. I think it's just Porto and Sporting at the moment. I haven't got anyone through from Benfica. But obviously, I've set my recruitment up to try and steal from their academies to get them cheap. So I've got a few youngsters in from them that have kind of just not made it there, and I've managed to pick them up. And then really, it's just been about trying to make sure the squad is solid enough. Obviously, I've got this whole striker debacle at the moment, which is fucking me off, if I'm honest. And then, I've just been playing the qualifiers for the Europa League. So I've played Boda Glimt, AIK, Sturm Graz, and there might have been one other, I think, but they've all been like massively high-scoring games. Other than AIK at home, as in Sweden, was 1-0. We won that 1-0. Every other game has been like 6-3, 5-4. Like the goals have been ridiculous. I think I posted it on Twitter the other night. But I have qualified for the Europa League main draw. Got teams like Roma, Lyon, Galatasaray. I've got some really tough ties. I don't expect to get anywhere, but you're in it, so going to give it a go. It's going to be different. The Portuguese league, like you get used to playing like Wednesday, Thursday, and then playing Sundays. It's like you play Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh,
like it's literally travel time in between some of these games. So Portuguese league does not do its clubs any favours when they're not in the Champions League. Like they look after Sporting, Benfica, and Porto. So I'm just going to give it a go. I've got kind of 2 11s. So I can rotate, but literally every European game I've played that's then been followed up with a league game, I've really struggled at the start of the season. I've probably played 3 or 4 games, and I think I drew the first 3 games of the season, and it's like that European hangover is already well in effect. But hopefully I get a bit more time to play it this weekend, and start cracking on with it because I'm enjoying it so far.
I take it all back. I completed it on the 4th of November. 2021. So that must have been with COVID. So they must have pushed the beta back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
was very
but
tight.
So I love the fact you know my saves better than I know it. Awesome, Joe. Well, Mad, you said you haven't played much, but you've been on stream a little bit. So what's happened?
Yeah, I'll say I haven't progressed much. I think I mentioned before, obviously we said we won the league, but the preseason is really long in Sweden. So the season finishes up in November, and officially the new league season then wouldn't start until the very beginning of April. So that's like, over 3 months of technically gap between leagues. There's obviously the players going on holidays a little bit. So we kind of come back around from their holidays right in the middle of January. So if you think about it, there's no real advantage to having this league finish in November because sure, I could kind of be looking around in December, but like you're suddenly in January to do your main kind of shopping, but everybody else is as well. So I'm kind of feeling like there's no advantage of playing that league at that time. But anyway, we progress. So I went live just to really do a lot of scouting, limited scouting range and budget and all that kind of stuff. We're obviously trying to find as many Swedish and Scandinavian players as possible. Actually quite surprised with the amount of Swedish guys or Ike fans that landed into chat.
Oh,
it's funny. Yeah, it's sweet. In IKEA. No, it's actually funny just how they kind of find their way into, somebody who's managing their club. But they also came in with a ton of knowledge about the league. Oh, dog didn't like that. A ton of knowledge about the league or about the clubs, about some of the players. So we had loads of suggestions coming in from chat, doing loads of scouting on kind of 17, 18-year-olds, so mostly Swedish players, if not Scandinavian, because that's kind of the plan for the future. And then, so we had we got 3 million for winning the league, and 2 million of that was given to me for transfers. So that doesn't go that far when you think about it.
No.
So completed 2 signings. One is a player I think that some people might recognize from FM. His name is Jeppe Ockels, Okkels. He's Danish, but I think he was an FM Wonderkid a couple of years ago. Still was playing his ball in, I want to say it was in Denmark, if not Sweden, I can't even remember. But yeah, got him in for, I think it was about 300 to 400 grand. And then we spent a good hour or 2 hours basically scouting around and looking up recommendations from chat. And then a player randomly popped up in the news feed, a suggestion from our chief scout, a centre defender who's 6'5", actually a cracking profile. He was available for, I think it's about 400k. His name is quite hard to pronounce. I'm going to say it's Enes Cardaclia. But the dude is 6'5", jumping reach 16 and heading 13, and his tackling, marking, all of that's just, it's just very like 13, 12, 14, middle of the road, but he's only 18. So I think there's a massive resale there. His value went up to, what it says here on my screen is that he's value between 500k and 2.1 million. And he's still only 18, so he's probably going to be a first team starter straight away.
Did you say his name was
Other
Anus?
than A-N-E, you tell me how to pronounce A-N-E-S.
Personality type arsehole.
That's the manager now,
related
not
to
the
me?
player. So like typically we were scouting away on stream for 2 hours, taking suggestions from chat, and the second player we bought was recommended by Chief Scout. So that's how things go.
He looked good though, to be fair, man. I think I was in the stream when you looked at him, and I thought, I know you had a limited budget, so you're umming and ahhing about whether to spend that amount of money. But I think for that, your type of save, that is like, I would look at signing him even as like a backup at Premier League level, or at least like a 21s player, because he looks really, really good at 18 as well. I think you'll definitely make money on him as well.
Definitely, yeah, and he's obviously a real player. It's only season 2, so there's no real kind of widespread new gens or anything. The other reason I signed him as well, I have a captain who is Alexander Milosevic. Again, he was an FM Wonderkid back in like about 10 years ago. He's a club captain. He's an icon at Ike. And about 6 to 7 weeks in a row, no matter what I did and no matter what I said to him, his training ratings were absolutely dog shit. And even now, he's only 32. And I'm just like, he's clearly just going tanking. So that was another reason for like, let's move now and spend what was probably a good 25-30% of the available budget. So that's kind of where we landed. As I mentioned earlier, we then started like that Swedish Cup, which kind of just starts in the off season. And we've, I suppose, up to today when I was playing it, today's Thursday, we've reached the quarterfinal of that cup. But again, you go into a group at the start. It's a funny competition. I was in a group with 3 other teams, but they were all from the division below. So we've coasted through, and now we're going to meet some of the bigger clubs in the quarter semi-final. And then, the league will start in April, and I'll have to wait until July maybe, until I get the draw for the Champions League qualifiers, because we've qualified for the second knockout round. So it's just everything is the wrong way around. Timing is weird.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult because there's a rule with the Champions League squads where you can only make 3 changes, wasn't it? So how do you get around that if you have like a proper transfer window and end of season in between the first stage and the second stage? Not saying that you're going to get there, but after the winter, the European winter transfer window, I'm sure you can only make 3 changes to your squad in Champions League. That's where I'm just like in the past.
Calendars overlapping in my brain, but it's basically like, so in the summer, in let's say in July, I'll probably be in the draw. If I was to get into the group stages, by that point it'll be, let's say it's kicking off in maybe August, September even. I'll probably only have about 8 league games left. So then my season will finish before the group stages probably even finish. So it probably won't be a problem too, because I probably won't get out of the group stages.
Yeah.
But then I'll have
technically at the end of that season, you can't make wholesale changes in your squad, because if you do get through, for example, you can only sure you can only change 3. I wonder if it's different because of your logistics, but I'm sure that is just the Champions League squad registration. Well,
I could rock out in December
and
sign 10. Yeah, I could sign 10 players and then not be able to play any of them. That's the point, right? Yeah,
exactly.
I'll try. I'll do my best, but you know yourself, Doop, I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well, if you keep playing offline, you probably get there, man.
I'll talk to Dave.
Hey.
Well, I'm just going to give you a quick overview to my Manchester United save. We are at the end of January now. No transfers in January. We're currently sat top of the league. However, we've got Chelsea right up our tails. So is Man City, and so is Tottenham, all within 3 points, the top 4. And it is proving to be quite difficult to get away from them. We've only lost a couple of games, one being against Chelsea, one being against Man City. So that's quite tough. However, we have just been knocked out of the Carabao Cup by losing to Man City with that. And things are tightening up everywhere else. But we've qualified for the Champions League next round after quite an easy run, to be fair. And we're having easy runs in the FA Cup. So hopefully we don't play anybody big. And we can keep that. But yeah, the boys are playing well. A few injuries and quite a lot of squad rotation. I've done the old 2 per position, so that's made my life a little bit easier. But yeah, just a hell of a lot of games. And that new format with the Champions League sees us playing a lot more games as well, right? So that's always tough.
Hate it.
But we're getting there.
hate that
there.
format.
Yeah, I don't like it. I hope that they stay away from that in real life, to be honest.
It's coming. It's coming next.
It's a real thing, mate.
Yeah, it's coming
Yeah, I
next
know, but I know it's a real thing, but I think there is still time for them to kind of try and opt out, isn't it? Like, surely they can kind of reevaluate it because
They've not played
probably...
FM, mate. They don't know what it's like.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. We've got Middlesbrough in the next round of the FA Cup. We're still on for the treble, but we've got quite a hefty challenge to try and get past the City, Tottenham, and Chelsea because they are they're keeping us honest.
Doop, can you tell me if Real Madrid still have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, and Harry Maguire in their back 4?
I don't believe it hasn't popped up that they've not sold anyone. But what I will do is I'll just quickly, whilst you talk amongst yourselves, I'll just quickly check to see how many games they've actually played. So they started the season there.
He's probably sold them Johnny Evans since as well.
I don't think I've sold them anyone else. They are top of the table. Okay, they are top of the table, which is absolutely
in-game etiquette editor can do incredible things.
He plays up front,
mate. I butchered the joke.
So I've gone on to their tactics, and they don't have any of them in their starting lineup, but they have Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof on the bench, and unfortunately,
at the top of the league,
Sir Harry Maguire is unregistered.
Re-sign him.
So
do they not know
done
who
well there. Well, clearly not. But it does say here Wan-Bissaka has made 20 appearances. It says here that Victor Lindelof has made 2 appearances, 6 substitute appearances, and Harry Maguire is yet to play for the club. He is unregistered for the league. They paid £12 million for Harry Maguire, and he's not touched the ball. And he is currently transfer listed for £5 million.
It's like that Real Madrid centre half that played for you, Dave. Oh, Jesus.
Vallejo.
Yeah. Played for Real Madrid for about 15 seasons, but never played a game.
Yeah, very strange. But yes, so they're still there, Mad, and 2 of them are doing well. Wan-Bissaka seems to be one of their starting right backs by the looks of things, which is quite mental.
He'd actually be a good, inverted fullback, though, wouldn't he?
Yes, an inverted fullback, definitely. I did look at one stage while we had him because he can do a very similar job to what Luke Shaw does on that left-hand side, just cut in and become another centre-back. And I thought that might be a little bit too defensive to have both of them cutting in. But yeah, I think he's very good on Football Manager. It was actually standing if you want him to sit back and do nothing. It's when you want him to cross the ball, it's not very good. But I haven't got any transfers ready for next year because I've bought everyone we need. So I'm hoping it will just kind of cruise through the season. But that brings the save updates to a close, and we're now going to just quickly jump over to Adventures in Wonderkid-Land, where we're going to head over to Italy, where we find a 18-year-old wonder kid who is having his breakout season at Juventus, Kenan Yildiz. The Turkish attacking midfielder has started the season playing 5 games for Juventus under-23, scoring once and assisting once. I do it on purpose now, just to get a reaction. He also made his debut for Juventus, playing twice, and he's also scored for the Turkish under-21s and made his debut for the senior Turkish side against Germany. So let's have a little look at him in FM, lads. Dave's going to get him up on the YouTubes if you're listening. What are we thinking? What are we saying about him?
Very
Do we
good.
like Yildiz?
I had him in at Juventus, but never played him. But I always remember him doing well for the kind of younger levels. But he looks good. Doesn't he? He looks like prime Turkish attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Like I did spot him doing the Ike save because there's a lot of Swedish young players in Serie A, so I was kind of bouncing around, and then I just kind of came across him. Had a quick notion of like, oh, he could be good, and then realized he was way too good and way too expensive for me to even sign. But yeah, like I mean, right in the middle of the screen when you're looking at it, you see 16 determination and 17 flair, which is always a good time. But very all round for an 18-year-old, and it just makes you think like that's another AMC, another number 10 with Arda Güler.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's two of them at Turkey, and they also have the guy who went from Feyenoord to Porto, or was it Benfica, Korku or Okan Korku.
Korku. Yeah.
So they've got some serious midfielders in Turkey, and this guy's one of them. Yildiz.
They were on about that. Is it Korku? They were on about him going for serious money in the next couple of years. I'm sure. Apparently, I think Benfica couldn't believe they'd signed him at the time, just because of how
and they did throw in 25 million, but he replaced Enzo Fernandez, right?
Yeah, I
think they, if my memory is right, they had the deal done in like May, June. Do you know what I mean? They had the replacement ready to go, and clearly had the money because they've bought a player for 20% of his value.
Yeah, going back to Yildiz, I think, like you said, very well rounded, very good player, and I think he will be at the. I don't think he's going to be amongst the elite on your Football Manager saves, but he's going to be a very, very solid player for whichever team, and I think he could slot into, as a squad player for a top team, or if not, he's going to be sort of a top player for those teams, sort of milling in around those European spots. I think at 18, with the attributes that he's already got, depending on whether you're going to play him, because he can play, he's comfortable in playing as a striker or on the wing. I think depending on when you're playing, depending on when you train him and which attributes you want to, jump up, he's going to be a very strong player in this edition.
I think you've got to be playing him as a 10 because he's a lazy fucker. There's no way you're
putting that physically
in putting a shift in.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but I think he's the kind of player that he'll fall out of contracts at Juve and you could pick him up.
I agree, yeah.
Because I think he's not quite good enough in terms of his attributes to be breaking into the first 11. So I think he'll probably dwindle a contract down and then you could end up signing him for free and then making money on him later on.
Yeah. A couple of these, and especially this one, over the last few weeks when we talk about these players, like I think there was a lad from Bayern as well, and we've said that maybe he could leave on a free or leave for very cheap. I remember years ago when I did a save with 1860 Munich, there was a guy available for like 5 million. And I looked at him and I thought his attributes are really good. And it was Gerson, Brazilian winger. And he was actually down as a wonder kid that year. I didn't even realise at the time. And I signed him and he just progressed really, really quickly. And obviously because he had no game time previously, he hadn't really, gone forward as a player. And I remember when I signed him and about 2 months later, I saw he'd come up on a wonder kid list. And I was like, well, no wonder. Because I can't remember where he was when I'd signed him. He might have still been at Marseille or in France or something. And then he kicked on really, really well. And that's what's quite exciting about some of these players, to be fair. And I'm hoping in the new year or whatever, whether it's one of us guys or the listeners are like, well, that lad that you were talking about, I signed him and this is how good he is. So hopefully we see that.
We haven't mentioned the fact his player trait is he tries tricks. With that 17 flair, I'd like to see what that's like in the match engine, to be honest. That'd be sexy.
And you're saying about picking up young players. I'm hoping that the Wolves researcher has done a number on Chiquinho because I've invested in him there. I'm hoping for a good chance.
Yeah. I'm still not sure why that release clause is on there, by the way. Sorry, mate.
No, you're
Neil, thank for that.
I do think this is a guy who, because Joe, you made a point that I missed, was that he's both-footed, according to FM. It says very strong for right foot and fairly strong for left, but like, if he's both-footed in real life, which he probably is, and also that probably explains why he's getting into the Juventus team, he's getting into the Turkey side, because like that kind of stuff isn't common, especially in an 18-year-old.
We look at Can Uzan that we looked at. Similar thing again, another kind of 10 that plays both-footed, bit tricky. They've got a few coming through.
Watch the space.
Watch that space, indeed. David, it's your space. It's your time. You said you got a quiz.
Yes.
Load it on us.
Right, so yeah, we didn't do a quiz last week. Give Doop a chance to, up his football knowledge again. We are doing a career path one, unfortunately, Doop. But I think you'll be better at this one because this is the Premier
Man
League.
United players.
The Premier
Got my
League
blanket.
streets won't forget edition, Doop. So these are players
dear.
that if you've not heard this phrase before, streets won't forget are like proper niche Premier League players, like players
Twitter
that
footballers.
yeah, you bring up and you're like, oh my god, yeah, remember him. So normal rules,
Like
shout out the
Andreas
answer. and you
D'Alessandro.
go,
Got to be in
Yeah.
there, surely.
Who did you say?
No, come on, carry on.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, normal rules. I'll start with the first team they've gone to on their career. First one to buzz in and get it. Obviously, it gets the shout. We'll start with the first player then. Started his career at Dynamo Zagreb. Then moved to Hajduk Split. Then he moved to Portsmouth.
Mad. Nico Cruncher.
Yeah, it's Nico Kranjčar. Portsmouth,
Oh.
Spurs, Dynamo Kiev, QPR on loan, New
Harry's
York
boy.
Cosmos, and Rangers.
Just where Harry went, yeah.
Mad. Good start, son.
Good player as well.
Yeah. Next up, started his career at Cruzeiro. Then had a loan at America MG. Then moved to Barcelona. Had a loan spell at Benfica. Then moved to Benfica on a permanent deal. Then moved back to Cruzeiro. Moved to Manchester City. Then moved to Hull City.
Mad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Is it that Giovanni guy? No.
Giovanni,
Yeah.
yes.
oh
Great
mate, we
player,
made
man.
with a hell of free kicks.
Was he against
It's only
Arsenal
when
he
you said-
scored that one?
It's
Yeah,
only when you
I
said Hull that I got that guy. In fairness, so that shows you what the streets.
Be interested on this one. I used to like this player. Started his career at El Mansoura. Then moved to a team called ENPPI. Then moved to Lokomotiv Moscow. Then moved to Zamalek. Then Wigan Athletic on loan.
Mad.
Oh,
Mad.
yeah. I know.
I know this because I used to sign this guy a lot in and out.
Yeah, beast
for-
striker.
It's Zaki.
Amir Zaki,
Amir
yeah.
Zaki, yeah. Scored that, was it against
Mm.
Liverpool? Scored like a bicycle kick, scissor kick or something like that.
Yeah.
Scored a great
Did
goal.
well actually for Wigan, didn't he? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. 10 goals in 29 at Wigan, yeah. Nice struggle that season. Next one, started his senior career at Arsenal. Then moved to Birmingham City on loan. Then moved to Birmingham City on a permanent basis. Then moved to Sunderland. Then moved to Hull City. Then he finished his career at AIK.
He didn't.
He did.
Come on,
Very
Mad.
recently.
Joe, if you know it, just don't say it. Let's just wind him right up. Come on. Come on, Mad.
Arsenal, Birmingham.
Sunderland,
Who's
Hull,
Sunderland?
AIK.
Oh, mad.
Doop.
Mad. Oh, mad.
It's free kicks. Sebi Larson.
Seb Larson it was. Deep it was, man. Would you have got that, though?
Yeah, that's literally who I had on my tip.
No,
But
bullshit.
that was definitely me.
Yeah.
That was definitely
Sorry,
me.
Would you have got it, though, Dupe? No?
Sebastian Larson. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
100%.
yeah,
That was
you
my
didn't say
one.
no.
You fucked it up.
Next one. I think this one could throw you, actually. Started his career at Dulwich Hamlet. Then moved to Colchester United. Then moved to Chester City on loan. Then he moved to Wolves, which included a loan move to Nottingham Forest and Bristol City on loan. Then moved to Oldham Athletic on a permanent basis. Then moved to Colchester United again. Then moved to Braintree Town on loan. Then moved to Leyton Orient. And then moved to Aldershot. And then moved to Maidstone United.
Doop.
Dupe?
It's not,
Craig Tanner.
It's not Craig Tanner. It was. Come on.
I was going to say
reckon-
George Ellacobi.
It is George Ellacobi.
How is it?
Yeah.
It's only because he was
Man-
Aldershot
currently
and
manager at Maidstone, yeah. Started his career at Dulwich
sick.
Hamlet. I don't know how he managed that, by the way.
Dulwich Hamlet.
No idea.
Played Joe, well done. Great shout. Right, next one. Started his career at Olympia. Then moved to Bayern Munich. Then he moved to Blackburn Rovers.
Joe,
Joe,
Mad.
Roque Santa Cruz.
Roque Santa Cruz. Yeah, still playing now
Shout.
at Libertad. Scored
was
13
great.
goals in 40 games.
How
At
old
the
is he?
age of, what is he? The age of
42?
42 years old, still banging the goals in.
Bagsman.
Next up, started his career at Real Oviedo.
Joe,
Joe.
Santi Cazorla.
No, it's not Santi Cazorla.
Oh.
Moved to Celta Vigo. Then to Real Vallecano. Then to Swansea City.
Joe,
Dude,
Matt,
Joe.
Michu.
Meet you.
nice to meet you.
mate, the timing on this is terrible, by the way.
Right, you need to upgrade your
100%
Wi-Fi.
before I shouted
Because
that.
you're not on lit
No,
fiber anymore, mate.
You're on GPRS.
Oh,
Next one.
Edge.
Let me shout at the start and then I might get there.
Started his career at Lens. Then moved to Tottenham Hotspur on loan. Then moved to Spurs on a permanent basis. Then moved to QPR on loan.
Matt,
Oh, that was
That's
Joel,
mad to me in
man.
my ears.
Well, I'm
Who?
He's one of
going
them, yeah.
NYS Ricotto.
Oh, who you go, Mad?
I was going Adel Tarabt.
It is Adel Tarabt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad.
He's
Nice
the
one.
ultimate streets don't forget.
Streets don't forget, yeah. Still playing now as well at Al Nassr.
No way he's playing.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
contracted, definitely not
What,
playing.
with Ronaldo?
Liverpool. Is that where he's at Al Nassr?
Is that who Ronaldo
Yeah.
plays for?
No,
Don't even know.
different one. He's in United Arab Emirates. This it's Al Nassr Dubai. This team. Next up, we've got a player that started his career at 7 Stars. Then moved to Cape Town Spurs on loan. Then moved to Ajax. Then moved to Celta Vigo. Then moved to Porto.
Matt,
Then moved to
Matt.
Mad.
So many things going through my head there. It's Benny McCarthy.
It is Benny McCarthy, currently a first-team coach at
At Old
Manchester
Trafford.
United.
Tassie
He then moved to
coach.
Blackburn Rovers and West Ham United and ended his career at Orlando Pirates.
I never knew that.
Yankee.
Final one, boys. Started his career at Lyon. Then moved to Fulham. Then moved to Tottenham Hotspur. Then moved to Sunderland, according to Mad.
Sunderland.
Then moved to Saint Etienne. Back to Lyon. To Caen. To Chasselet. And ended his career actually last year at Limonest. So the big ones there was Mad.
It's not Steed Malbranc, is it?
Steed Malbronc, mate. Yeah, what a shout.
Oh.
Steed.
I couldn't get Louis Saha out of my head. I don't know why.
I was thinking of Sessignon.
Yeah. Stefan?
Mm.
Yeah, that is full time. Doop with a resounding 0 for the third week
Mate,
running.
I got two. I got two there. I was definitely.
Would you have
before,
got them
I
though? Like the
just thought
Seb
this-
Larson one, I thought you were taking the mic.
No, Seb Larson and Michu were the only two that I knew that I would have got, to be honest. But I am a little bit delayed.
Joe with 3 and Mad, unbelievable week with 7. So well done, son.
And when I edit the pod, I'll make sure
Streets.
I'm way in front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
good
video
quiz, Dave.
was will know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, VAR it. That does bring episode 328 to a close. You can find the links for each of us in the podcast description or by visiting 5starpotential.com, where you can find our latest FM24 content, including the 10 best release clauses in FM24 and this very podcast in video form. 5-Star Potential is available on iTunes, Spotify, and most other popular podcast apps and platforms with a new podcast release every single week. Thank you all for listening. There'll be more from us next week. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Later,
Bye.
shaggers.
Laters.
Tally ho.